I was looking for something, but I'm here. They have a sort of like a new layout for the studio. Looks nice. It looks very aesthetically pleasing. So, anyways, I'm not gonna worry about it. Anyway, I got what I wanted. I'm here. All right. Um, yeah, I'm just getting back in the swing of things, and I thought that I would come in. I'm doing really well. There's nothing for me to really say about my watch hours. What can I say? Um, I'm getting all the watch hours. I'm worried because this type of success, it comes with a price. Like, I know I'm in the right place because everybody's acting funny. So that's the drawback. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I'm going to get my watch hours, but now that I know how to do it, everything is like, what's wrong with you? What's going on with you? I'm like, uh huh. None of your business. Not telling you. So, oh gosh. At least it's good things. At least good things are what's going on with me. Yeah, my channel's been very active. Oh my gosh. I've kind of just been hanging out. What was I thinking? Okay, let me think. Let me compute this. Oh yeah. Now I know. I forgot to obsess today. Okay, it's only gonna take a few minutes. It's just one little one. It's not a big one. Don't worry. This one will not captivate me for more than 2 seconds. I just need to see something. Oh yeah, I'm definitely goal reaching. Nice. Okay. I'm okay. I'm awake now. I'm awake. I'm alive. I'm well. All right. Yeah, my watch hours for me is doing really well. Yeah, everything is gonna be definitely everything is acting funny. Okay, but it's okay. And it's like I'm not gonna pretend like something isn't off or something isn't different. I'm just gonna continue to do the amazing lives I've been doing. I've been answering questions, talking with um, strangers. Oh my gosh, I'm talking with real people, strangers. I've never met them before. Just chatting with them. That's big because that's another side for marketing, but I'm not marketing for companies. I'm actually just talking like for me. So that's amazing. I can speak in this very much desired space for marketing, but without marketing. Of course, I'm not selling you all anything. I'm just chatting. Yes. And by the way, you all are subscribing to this YouTube channel, which is my YouTube channel. That's which is going to be my go-to place, place where we can meet, we can talk, and we don't have to talk about the things like things that I do with company, which is service them. We don't have to speak on that area. We can speak about a subject totally different. Now I am going to be real though, so I'm just saying. I know it's for fun. I know it's internet, but I'm most likely going to answer truthfully. Just kind of remember that, please. Yeah, I don't need a dose of reality, so to speak, and I already have my tea, so I don't need a wake up call. I'm just saying, I love the ability to just come on here and just say, hey, hi, how are you? How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing good. I like that feeling. Yeah. It's a nice day. Overall, it's a good day. Just kind of seeing how, things are going to play out. Get back into the regulars, into regularly getting on here. hmm Um, but it's also early, so I should be fair. I don't know. I'm in my brain. I'm thinking, when I get here, you better be here. No, I know. You're like, why are you trying to pick a fight and it's 7 a.m. in the morning and it's earlier than that in California? Isn't it like 6 o'clock? Your dogs haven't even started barking because you don't have roosters. Yeah, you do. I've heard roosters out there, but I'm just joking. The dogs, but usually it's the dogs. They're like you hear the sliding door, a sliding door. They run out, do their thing, come back. They want to play with you early. I know, like early in the morning. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, dogs! I gotta get the dogs." I remind you to go get to let your dogs out. Good. Go let the dogs out. It's okay. I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm working on my channel. Oh boy, I'm like, yeah, telling people to get up, wake up this morning. It's time to get up. Only thing is that this clamp is a little sensitive. I have to find my other one. I don't know where it is. It's supposed to still be on here, my little clamp, but is that okay? All right. Well, I think it's okay. Yeah, but it's gonna be a great day though. Oh my gosh. So here we are. It's Friday. Oh yeah, people are getting for the weekend. By the way, I'm wising up. I know we're in a new season. So what I have to do is grow too, like, because we all, autonomy and this energy's up. Like, yes, you're right. You don't need to be talking to psychics unless it's extremely important in the evening. No, you should be, especially this season, and not, yeah, this season, which is kind of like catch up, get ahead for the seasons to come. Like, no, we're getting ready for winter. We're getting ready for the three holidays: October, November, December. January. Into January. It kind of runs in together with December. I get it. Definitely do that. I no longer am active in the evenings. Yeah, I want my evenings so, I can go off and take a stroll, walk. And plus, when I say evenings, I'm done at least by 4 p.m. So I have plenty of day. because it doesn't get nightfall until 9. So I have plenty of time to go, adult play, if you will. And then still being not, and then just getting into night, evening hours, right? So our nightlife doesn't start until like 11. You're too early. It's like midnight to like 3, 4 in the morning. By the way, then it's day at 5. Well, they break at 5, by the way. Just saying. So you see, so where I'm at, it's not. I have. I'm just saying it. Yeah, I do work a lot, but I'm working a lot like when the rooster crows, at least a few hours after the rooster crows, where I'm at, and you're just waking up. And then this is me kind of like people don't really get active for me until 10. So I'm here actually early as an excuse to be online and get some right. And I know it's like, look, we tired of getting up early for you. I know, like, well, I'm still also getting used to people like joining in, and people have been coming in here when I've come in early, even much earlier. Early as it's 3. When I come in at 3, all the international people come in. They're all speaking their languages. They're different. So I have like Arabic language, uh, uh, Taiwan's language. I have the different language of the world, except for a few people, Americans, and they might be abroad. Yeah, yeah, I could tell when you take a few days off. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It kind of cools down a bit, and I haven't gotten to the place where I've started. Well, I could begin to schedule. I could begin to, like set up thumbnails. They're like, oh, we have noticed something. You remember you used to take the time to do little pretty thumbnails? I know. I haven't forgotten how. I'm making sure that, I can believe my senses that like, okay, I mean, I know you all are real, but I'm like, is this really happening? Are people really now beginning to visit my room? I know I gotta get, does it matter if I have to go live on my phone? I'm not quite in the studio. I still could do thumbnail. And besides, when I do go do a studio, which by the way I need to, um, over the next couple of days, yes, we have 2 things we need to read on. We're starting looking into the scriptures of the world. So we're reading a chapter from the Bhagavad Gita, and another story from another source. Um, but that's going to be in the studio, so it won't be on this because I want people to read with me. So we will do that. I will start over the next few days. But for now, it's pretty much me. I'm just in a, getting. Let me get back in the swing of things. Let me get back flowing again. I was doing so well, but and then I ducked out, and I was like, I could like, oh, I'm so ahead. I could take a break right now. But I have noticed I have to like think in terms of like a week. So it's definitely like a job. I mean, I could take time away, but you're definitely gonna notice. You'd be like, yeah, you have a week. I mean, like you took off a week. Yeah, it definitely feels different. Welcome, a pleasure. Let's see what's going on. Okay, hi. Niti said, hi. Good to see you. I'm making my rounds. I'm getting back. I took a few days all away. I wasn't going as hard. I pulled myself away, but I'm definitely going to pick back up again. Yeah, I'm picking back up again over the next few days. I'm even going to do this. go live from the studio so that I can bring up something that we can read together. So we'll do the whole studio. Rather, right now I'm on the phone, which I can't. I cannot. Which I won't even download a studio for the phone. I'm not even gonna do that. But cause I don't. They don't look as sharp as like the studio that I like on the PC, which is OBS, by the way. So yeah, I will, do that so that I can show you what I'm seeing and then we can read it together. It's gonna be good. It's two stories or but it's two. I don't know how long the chapter is, to be honest, for one of the stories, but the one from the Bhagavad Gita, we just read one chapter, and we just read a chapter whenever that we feel drawn to. There's only 18 chapters, by the way, so it's not like, oh gosh, it's not super long. It's just one little chapter, and it's a form of a psalm, so it's not that long, and it's 18 of them that makes up the Bhagavad Gita. Now, the other story, on the other hand, that one is going to be a little heavy. I'm not even going to tell you what it is because your brain will naturally say, "Oh, here we go." So because you're gonna be like, I know this already. And I'm like, no, you don't. You don't know from the way what I'm gonna say in that space. So when it time comes and I'm doing it, and you're like, okay, I'll give you 1 minute or 29 seconds, and then if you feel intrigued, you know, you can talk. 'Cause I will be able to see chat and all that. But it's nothing to debate. It's just a story that I'm gonna read. Yeah, but I don't want to freak anybody out. I don't want any people thinking that. So they be like, "So where are your cards?" Yeah, it's definitely still safe to say they're here. I just have them sorted right now. I said, okay, yeah, they're very much, very well, and shuffled. Yeah, and yes, we still pray and all that, you know, being that we are, uh, I don't know why I gotta show this all the time, being that we are licensed over here. So, yes, we still pray, but we also read educational books too. So yeah, so that all that everything is still the same. I'm still me. Nothing. I haven't got any since you all been coming in, hanging out, and chatting with me. My character, my thoughts, my focus has not changed. The reason why I haven't done my thumbnails, that has not changed. So yeah, there's no excuse for not continuing my thumbnails. It's just that I'm used to doing thumbnails for the studio. So I'm definitely gonna do thumbnails for whenever I go live in my studio. I don't know how you all are gonna find me because if for some reason everybody attracts except for a few people, and it may be because they're actually looking for me. I haven't determined that, but yeah, people have actually come in there and talked when I've gone live from my PC, which is different when I go live through the phone. The phone, you all flock in here. At least my kind of flocking in here, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean like you all sign in and drop by and say hi and what have you, or hey, you look weird today, whatever it is, which is, I mean, that's still letting me know how, okay, people are seeing me there. It's just if whether or not, it's like, okay, I can do my best. Now it's like, well, the rest is up to you. It's that type of situation. The rest is up to you guys. I could do my best. I could put the best thumbnail up that I think is the best. I could give it the best title. I could talk, for hours, but the rest is up to y'all. If y'all still don't come, oh, well, I, I can do, as they say, well, you tried your best. You tried your best. So, but luckily, I'm stubborn, so don't worry about me. I am stubborn, and I'm most likely going to do something like change the color format or something. No, I'm having a good time. I've got the highest watch hours, and I have more watch hours than I ever had in my entire life. Uh, Streaming, playing on it, playing around on streaming. Now, this is the first time that I've taken it serious, but I mean, I've taken, even as I've taken it serious before, nothing like now. So I can only be grateful and I can only see progress. So don't think I'm over here, beating myself up. I'm having fun beating myself up over it because it's so funny how everything just sort of began to pick up and people just started, you know, uh, joining in the live. I realized that is, I need to be here early this time because I have an obligation to the America group, and yeah, so I said they seem to drop in more or want to work with me more in the mornings. So, and which is phenomenal. I'm glad that they prefer their their evenings to themselves because as I've been wanting my evenings to myself. So yeah, so I was willingly like yes, I will give up the um the evenings for the mornings because the mornings I'm always full of energy and I'm like, what do I want to do today? You know. So now I know exactly what I'm gonna do today. I'll be available, get clear my obligation. But that oh yeah, this does answer my questions about when to go live. It's definitely I think mornings is better for me, even though I know I can go live anytime. But I like the mornings or the mid mornings or what would be considered like midday. I'm okay with the afternoon, and then if I just want to go live in the evenings, that's fine. But to be honest with you, there are other shows. The shows that I enjoy very much are more like, they do like evening as late as like 9 p.m. Yeah, so I catch those and uh, and watch a few shows, and then at I try not to push it, but like get some shut eye or try to at least. I don't really sleep that like that, but not that I don't like it, but it's like sometimes I'm like, why did I do that? I know I have some things to do today. I could have been doing it, could have gotten ahead. So yeah, I really enjoy uh, like solving puzzles, like life puzzles. So, especially now that the channel is moving in a good direction, in a healthy direction, I want to make, like use of that time. And I love having crazy hours as we approach the fall. And I've been feeling fall here lately. Like, you know, it's kind of even gives that fall feeling right now. It's a little cloudy, but although you could tell it's a little warm in here. Great for my skin, but it is a little warm. And I was checking that out yes last night. Like I was in here, I was like, gosh, it's warm in here. And then I opened the door and I stepped, like literally through the door into the hallway, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a huge difference. This room is just warm because I shut the door. What I really should do is leave the door open and then allow some of that coolness in here. But yeah, it's pretty. This room is pretty insulated. I haven't really noticed before, but for some reason it's bothered me more than any other time. And I'm like, I feel toasty, clean shave today. But yeah, it's yeah. But oh, besides that, besides the mundane things, so today, okay, so today is the final or the last day of the 5 business days that, so far as to my understanding, clients are waiting for responses from like people who are interviewing them. So we're waiting for things like that. So it's either today or within the first 3 days next week. So we're anticipating. But anyway, this part of the chapter, just in case you would like to know, it goes. It's like if it's fulfilled on Thursday. I have this had this very sharp insight that it just showed me Thursday and everything was behind us, like everything was complete. Like if you interviewed for someone, they reached out, then you have your answers. Um, or if you're intending to work with a family or work with a company or move into a company or start something, a partnership, you now already know you're doing it, but you're just maybe getting the rest of the information. And but anyway, Thursday comes, it's pretty much like that's it. It's complete. So I said, well, Wednesday by Wednesday evening. So pretty much that's where everybody's sort of we're kind of like anticipating these things, to roll out. I'm excited about it. So because they're gonna come back and tell me about it. But that's why this is called. I know we're all anxious for what happens next. We're waiting. We're like, okay, so what is happening and what's next? How should I proceed? So that's what's going on right now. And because in my brain I'm like letting people know, I'm like, no matter how I spin it, how much I reassure you, how much I reword it, you still have to go through these steps called Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You still have to climb through the weekend. What are you gonna do about the weekend? And then it's because it's not gonna. I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Everything is slowed up until Monday, basically. But you're gonna be okay. Through you just have to kind of get through the weekend because that's why I said. I mean, at the very start of my readings in this section, I say, okay, so right now, we already know we have everything. Like they've already manifested for themselves, but we need to get through these business days. And of course, the universe showed me like 10 of them, but mine is they took out Saturday and Sunday. It's like even if you work for yourself, kind of, or your business doesn't really care about the weekend, you end up working, let's say, remotely because you're still working. Those days are still in that fiery element, but it's just like things you're doing on your own, or they may not. People you work with, may not be in contact with you like they were during or excuse me, during the business days. I mean, so that's how we're playing it. We're trying to be cool about this, and you know, okay. So that's another thing that I'm working on. I'm still working on the like. What do you call stretch people's anxieties. If they have anxiety or like they're in turmoil, and that turmoil is translating into anxiety. I I very early began guiding them out of that. So it's that's not a place like I'm not the kind of psychic who hangs on or lingers. in that place because I started introducing like powerful, um, sort of affirming and confrontative vibe, type 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 of messages that is like, okay, now we're making progress. We're breaking out of this. Whatever this is, we're breaking out of here. I spiritually jailbreak you out of your situation. Like, this is a jailbreak. I get you out of that spinning space. But sometimes, it takes a lot to, get people to the place where they can let go and release. And so, and sometimes when it's that, people are like, but I'm not ready to go. Like I'm like literally a fountain, and I've needed this for so long. So I mean, of course, we allow them to purge that out, but um, when I can tell that there's nothing much more forthcoming in that space, and it's just going on and on and round, that's when pretty much I was like, okay, we're gonna get ourselves out of this, and we're gonna shatter that reality, and we're going to see what we're looking at going forward. Whether that's you know um, admitting truths or accepting truths, whatever, however it is, or saying truths, because yeah, sometimes truths coming from things that we refuse to say. We refuse to say the words. Yeah. Like our mind is so powerful in our anxieties about, um, like, if we want to, like, if, let's say we want to stay in a job, I'll keep it practical. So, like we want to stay in a job, and regardless of how that job is doing, we'll use words that uplift the job rather than stating. And then when something happens and we let go, it's like we still are saying, um, anytime I've ever needed them, they were always there, or I've done everything they ever asked. So, but they're not saying I've done everything that they ever asked. And when I, and yet when I ask, for, or make requests so I could do things effectively, it seems like they choose everything but helpful. And it impacts my confidence in the task that's to help them. It doesn't even help me, it helps them. So but then when they start utilizing those words, it's like all like this pure connection to that. They're like, and it goes, then it just stops in mid stride. It goes, yeah, I did give them heads up a lot, and they did turn me, like showed me the door, or they just didn't know. They actually didn't talk to me at all. Even when I made requests, I put it in to sit with them, get with them, and then they start being strong, like a what do you call, yeah, not they're not on the defensive anymore. Now they're um, in their assertive space, which then that's healthy, because that's when they can also begin to say, it's been a long time in the making that I've been wanting to, if whether or not if I should take my career into a different direction. It's like, and this is that moment where your answer has returned back to your question, with an answer has returned back to you, and now you can do it. So yeah, so we, of course, now that type of reading, it's kind of like, if you lay out, let's say there's three cards laid out. Let's say that one conversation is based on this one card. We're trying to get to the rest of the reading. And so sometimes, you can't just like just keep layering. Okay, but let me get to second card. Okay, okay. Yeah, I hear you. I hear it's sad. Here's the third card. No, you sometimes you have to say, okay, this one, let's let's get them. Let's see what they're doing. What are you doing that's keeping you here? Because sometimes, because we read, I find myself reading. It's like reading on time, or okay, you know those like tape recorders, the cassette tapes, and like it's playing and then it's saying something and then you can stop it in their mid-sentence. I guess you could think of in terms of if you're watching a video and you stop something in the something sad or something that's interrupting you or disruptive to you, and you stop it before they maybe get the sentence out. That's like is like this is a very important, conversation. Obviously, the person is a client. That means they're paying for the reading. So so we're working through it. And when the person like says, "Wait, don't say that. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to say that." Or in other words, acknowledge that or admit that, and then so we have to sort of when they've pushed pause. That's a that's a place where we have to do work. And what I mean by work, that's when I'm implying that metaphysical work sometimes or bridging. But of course, it's happening at the same time, simultaneously, not like uh, so to work with me means you have to work with metaphysics. No, that's not correct either. It's interwoven, and you wouldn't even know you were doing work. It's I'm just speaking on the subject because I know what's going on, sort of more or less behind the scenes. I know what's going on. Healing is going on. So all of that, yeah, it gets pretty wild. But so that's why I named it. Or what was it? It's something about anxiety. Yeah. Oh, resolutions. So this is our resolution time. So if here we are. So here you are. Look at you experiencing resolution. You found resolution. Now what? It's about action. We know that this week's, by the way, is called action. Action goes all the way to time. Okay, timeline. Making predictions in a space is crucial in psychic readings. So that's going to be timeline Thursday. You got it right, Thursday. So we're just going to see, where things are going to lead, where things are actually going. hmm So that's what we're doing. And oh, they already emailed me. They said, I think they mentioned something by Saturday. So this will probably be another, like relaxing day for me. But I'm still gonna be here, out of the discipline. Um, I don't have to take up. I don't have to take up Friday actually today, but I'm going to. But I definitely have to Saturday. Yeah. So I know that people are like following. I think that okay. So some of my readings are like stories, like they're drawn out. There's always like these sort of uh, we read but so far, and then we have to kind of like wait and see what happens. It's kind of like watching, I guess, listening to audio book reading. Um, so most interesting, but I know for a fact that's how because they also listen to because this is I mean this is it makes perfect sense as wrong as it sounds because they also have, I guess, professional writers. They can write books, you know, from out of these conversations. And California, the ones in the U.S. actually send theirs to script writers. Yep. And script writers and authors and, to be put on television, which I'm not a big fan of because I don't think that there's any real good storylines, at least the way that they write it. It's like, it's like for that while, people said, why is television so toxic? So that's what I'm talking about. So they kind of praise toxicity, and they, and with so don't having this piece of knowledge about this little thing that they do, they tell me like, why do you read like that? Like, why do you uplift and why do you help solve problems? It's like, no, really help them, like give them assignments, and they're like, you need a book, you need a script, don't you? So yeah. Um, the current one is not like, you know, at least they don't tell me that they. Which I don't mind if they do. It's just that the one before, they became like men in black, men and women in black, and then it was like very much, like Men in Black. They actually go out into the field, right, and they go hunting they go hunt the aliens and can and get involved and things like that. So yeah, it was like very much like, yeah, we're doing this. So why do you? So you didn't answer our question. So they very much blatantly in your face. That then it's like, oh, that's nasty. Makes me think of Witch Mountain, where the government is chasing those siblings, um, and keeping them from reaching their spaceship. Say I don't like being on like pure anticipation. Like year round doesn't feel really good. Yeah, definitely puts you on an anxiety alert for sure. So, but now that I'm much more experienced, and yeah, it's like, and also just tolerant wise, like I'm like, I don't want the rest of my time on the earth to be in that vibration. So I'm blessed to not be in that space anymore. And yeah, I'll keep working on my channel, and that I think everybody's feeling like, whoa, you're working, you're doing something, but they can't put pin on it. And contractually, I've also agreed, and nor do I want to share like personal things. I could tell a person, yeah, I'm doing this or I'm doing that, but I can't like go into. But I don't want to say where I'm pouring my energy into, because the intent wasn't to hear what I'm doing. The intent was to control what I'm doing. So yeah, so it's definitely, I am working on something, a project, but I shouldn't have to say that to continue to do the wonderful work that I do. And it's not to say, oh, so once you have what you want, so then what? Like, why are we helping you? It's not, that my intention is not to exit the industry when as soon as I'm able to. No, I absolutely not. This is something that makes me feel really good about. So I'm very happy with the direction of the channel and the fact that it is growing and it is becoming something. And yes, it will allow me to do other things for sure, but that shouldn't matter. That's my whole point. And you shouldn't have to tell people, you know, whether or not, if I just wanted just to do work and that's it, you should be able to do that and not, you know, someone feel as though they meet because they have the experience of a lifetime with you. They're like, kind of sabotaging you a bit, like, like a naughty angel who in those movies. the Western movies, who ends up breaking cosmic law, or uh, South Korean, those the high spirits breaking laws from mortal kind and getting into mischief, divine mischief. I'm like, no, no, no. Like your ideas, practice a little bit on other people, and then before you come practicing on me. For now, I'm your psychic. Hi, Nancy. How's your morning? I'm getting back in. But yeah, I think how long? I took at least. I feel like I took at least a day away from going live, maybe 2 days. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm just explaining how the channel is growing, and that morning time seems to be better for clients for the America. This is the last day of a chapter because it goes by 5 business days and then 3 days next week. So everybody's sort of waiting to get through the weekend for, that's when their manifestations happen. So we're kind of hanging out. But I've discovered YouTube. So that's why I'm here. And so that's, it's kind of, it couldn't happen at a better time because, people want to like get in the middle of my road. But I said earlier, as we were entering into this year, I said Jupiter is making it where either people could stand in the middle of the road with their hand on their hip, trying to tell you, trying to, you know what I mean. They're gonna, tell you what you should be doing, or they can go chase their dreams, and they can really see where their journey is guiding them. So Jupiter is beautiful in connection with Venus, channeling the personality of Libra, by the way, and which is good because yeah, people are not choosing. They can't afford to stand in the middle of the road. Like, what do you think you're going, or things like, what do you think you're doing? You're in the you could be in the highest mood, and somebody's trying to mess with your, they're trying to mess with your light, and now you're in a place where you're like, don't mess with my light. This is because you finally exactly where you want to be. Like, you studied up, you're excited that you finally understand the formulas. You can go in, you think, if I get a pop quiz today, or I feel like if I were to take the exam today that I would pass. And you're like, yes. And then somebody's like over there, now all of a sudden they were, no one was concerned with your path until now they're like want to touch your light, get in the middle, and you're like, oh no, I don't, no, don't stay back. I don't want your help right now. You did like give you help when you didn't ask. When you ask, no help. So yeah. hmm but you should be able to pick these groups out very easily because some are like, you can say, if they say, so how's your day, and you say, oh yeah, it's great, I'm gonna be on an interview later. They're like, whoa, well, I don't, actually I'm only here to talk about. And then when you have then you're in a place where you can pass your exams. So all of a sudden they feel that energy, they hear it in your voice, you're sparking off. So how's your day going? Say, oh, let me try this time. I'm only interested in the task next. So if you could pick up there, that would be fine. Hey, but it's me. It's me. And I'm wanting to move forward. Do you have something for me or no? I'm quite busy today at my desk. Oh, well, you don't want to talk. I want you to. do your job. Yeah, yeah. You might feel that way. So, because there, but you already know what that's about. Stay in your center. Don't let people guide you off the path. Stay on your path. You've got it right. You've got it right. You found your resolution. Trust it. Don't let it go. Don't let it go for anybody because you're so close. And you manifest this. And again, your intentions are your intentions and your intentions alone. So, like, your intentions, like mine, intend to still like continue working. Yes, but you know, you don't need them in somebody who do not have any real connection to you to be in your most sensitive space. When I say most sensitive space, I mean that's integral for your success. They don't belong there. Jupiter showed you that. That's what Jupiter's for. Jupiter is it's a business planet and a regal planet, but it's also it's like security. It lets you. It's like the lights turn all the bright lights. The kind that law enforcement have. Like all these bright lights are everywhere. You can see the good people, but you can also see the people who are mischievous as they are. Their deeds. You can see who's giving. You can see also who's taking. That's the beauty of Jupiter. Jupiter is also the planet of a planet of justice, but it's like the planet of justice because there's other justice like planets, but Jupiter is like a symbol of justice as well. hmm And also the way that the public views you. So like we read that planet to see to check for recognition and things like that. Yeah, so a lot of interesting things are happening. Okay, I need to go check on something, and I've overstayed a little bit. I'm on till 9. I'm just sort of, getting back regularly, coming on again. I took a few days, so yeah, I'm gonna actually be on throughout the day. Well, particularly at 9, I'll take an hour, come back at 10, and then I'll be on till like 3 or something. Right now, right now, I've got a lot of energy right now because I made sure that last night, as much as I wanted to prowl, I'm proud of myself. I didn't like snooze all night. I just I don't rest that way. But I stayed down. So I am fully like basically charged up without the tea's help. But it tastes so good right now in the morning. So I'm gonna go do that and I'll be right back. I'm gonna leave the audio on, but I'm gonna turn off that for a sec. All right. Whoops. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, babe, I'll be right back. Here I come. Okay. Now, it is a little cooler in this room, thank goodness. All right, I am back. There, turn a little bit of light in here. Yeah, so it's gosh, it's gonna be a good day. I'm having a good day so far, energetically. Um, if can I? I'm gonna okay. I don't know how many people are in here, but I want to pose something. Are your how powerful is your energy field? Like, can you be happy and grounded, sound and soundedly, resoundedly, resoundedly? That's ugly. Oh, resoundingly. Maybe that's okay. Happy, not crazy happy, not like that, not like you running around making everybody nervous type happiness, not like that. I mean, just so connected with what you're doing that regardless, like nobody. Okay, like right now, if somebody let's say you're happy, right? And then somebody tries to get at you, get on your nerve, or like make you sad, or make you contemplate, like political stuff. Would that throw you off your path? Did there is something called perpetually connected, which but when you but you, it is achieved through by not attaching to short-term happiness that can be found through. So okay, like I'm gonna choose short-term happiness. Whatever this person's doing, it'll bring me a little bit of joy for a little bit of time, but it'll keep them off of me. That's like short-term happiness. But it doesn't, but it's like a sugar high. And when you crash, you're like, I mean, down to the dumps, right? But there's also this inner happiness, something that you have, and it's it reminds me of like you planted a seed, and the only closest thing I think of is like a bird trying to come down and steal it away. So you have to kind of like for a while you have to kind of protect that seed and allow it to cultivate and become nourished, and it reaches the potential to produce something, and then you start to see production, and then you start to see fruitfulness, and you start to see abundance. But you know sometimes people, they'll pretend that they don't see that, but if you can protect that, you will obtain something or achieve something called joy. and it's perpetual joy that no one can take it. And it's so powerful that people will like outwardly challenge you. I mean, the people who you thought were the most like too passive to do anything, and I almost want to say especially someone disguising themselves as, until they get close enough to, when you, like they say, owe that person money and see and see, how, variation of, you know passive and aggressive that they can be. So you know what I mean? I'm just saying, I'm taking it to the extremes. That's a little extreme, but I want to go there because this is really good, it's helpful. What I'm saying is, because a lot of people say, do you think that's wise? Don't you think you should like see what other people are doing around you? Or I am back in the day, people say, hey, look around. You know what? But not like look within. Look within. Not that. Why not that one? Why not look within? It's not. No, no, no. Look at. So you're trying to fit into that. And if you look within, oh boy, they will challenge you for whatever you're trying to plant there. And no, they're like, look without means they're going to plant their stuff in there. And and that means whatever, if they see you happy, even if you fake smile, that's gonna count to them. Even if you go, thank you, and they're like, here you go, thank you, and you plant that, they're like, now you feel much better. And then they'll start creating this entire galaxy, and and you just like, they don't read my they're not even reading my bottom line. They're not reading between my, like if I'm with a person, I can tell a person is, I would never be good at pressing people and coercing anybody, because I can I could I literally feel when people are I'm reading them and I'm like, wow, you really feel that way? Like I'm reading their entire expression like it's a sentence. Like, oh, you really feel like that way? Oh, let me, I feel too bad. I'm like, Lord, please, when it's my turn, please, Lord, please remember this one. Let it count for credit. Give me extra credit on this. Because and they might even give you what you want, but it's like, oh no, 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 no. I don't want, when that comes back around. I hope that someone respects the fact, whenever, like, even though I might not say it out loud, that they give me that respect. So like, look, I can see this conversation is uncomfortable for you, so I'm going to change that subject. How about that? So yeah. So anyways, so it's kind of like, how they say, if the dream characters catch you awake and you're not really asleep or dreaming, right? Then they freak out over you. They start, that is very much, as it is high and below, etc. That, that statement. That's what happens. Like when you start vibrating, and in your, right now, I am a tree of, and I can extend happiness and joy. But if people, there's many reasons why people do this. It's because they may want the world to be something that it is not. For example, that I find, um, like, uh, uh, why are you happy today? If the today could be catastrophe for them or for the city, but today might be your birthday. So, but they're like, so why are you smiling? It's my birthday, sir. Since when? Since as far as I can remember, sir. Every year, sir. Mm. Well, today is disastrous. Thank you, sir. So, you know what I mean? So you're like, but what if, no matter if a person says, today was catastrophic in 1994, and here you are happy because it's 2025, nearly nearing 1926, any like a few months from now, literally. And you're like, and I feel good today. That's when you know you better not move from that spot, because universe can do more with you in that state of mind than with the other one. The other one that is like, you don't know where you are, on this roller coaster of emotion. And it's like, as long as you don't be happy for yourself, and be stagnant, be stuck, then and there's still, by the way, even if you try to play it off and stay stuck in these places, that doesn't work. That's why we talk about the bonding of traumas, and people keeping you in a state of mind, or we allowing others, not people keeping us necessarily, but allowing others to keeping us in that state of mind where we are just spinning out something that is against our own personal interests, our self-interest, actually. Until and then it's like, well, I just need to wait till I'm strong enough. um, and so sometimes, in fact, certain words can be said in these spaces, right? And the, people who are trying to keep you in this state of not caring, or apathetical space, not empathetical space, not empathic, empathy space, but apathic, which means not caring, not, just not connected, no feelings. They would keep you in that. They want to keep you in there about things that you want to do, but keep you learned to feel in regards for the regards of others, and to and in regard to others' situations. Which they say it'll feel good once you do it. You'll see. Yes, short-term happiness, and every good deed is not instrumentally beneficial to you, and every bad deed is not always squarely an evil deed. So, right. Um, so you can't think of it as that. The words that is used. So how do you make it spiritual? Since it's not spiritual to do a good act, if that act is not benefiting you, is actually the wrong choice, and then that would be in the Bhagavad Gita is referred to as a sin. So then, what is this? Then what is this? The correct spiritual answer? The correct spiritual answer is that, yes, you look to how it benefits, but it's something called social responsibility. Your task is just simply to do your job. You do the duty, you do the job, but you don't attach to it. You don't do it because it's a good thing, like as in, um, oh, this is good, or you don't do it because it's bad, or I shouldn't do it because it's bad, or whatever. You do it and you do it correctly, the duty, because it's your duty to do it. It's your social responsibility to do that duty with no attachments at all. Just perform the action, get it done. That's it. So that is how you navigate the gray area. When you say, but there's a gray area, that's people who swings from one side to the other, but they're never in them. They're never too far over here or too far over there. They never get into any debates. No confrontation for them. No arguing. No needing to stand up for something or for anything or for anyone. Never standing side by side anyone. The real answer is, but what is that person's social responsibility? What do that person do? And then you got to ask, do they do that? Do they do their duty? And if the answer is a no, then they're not benefiting. Neither will you benefit if you get involved. So that's how you navigate that. But that's also answers our base question. So how do I reach that good old whatever, good medicine you're on right now? Well, you have to um, wherever it is, wherever that space is where you feel apathic. And by the way, if it's true about you, because I'm not claiming that that's you, but if that's true, you need to see what area of life that apathy is connected with. Like, you know, I want to write, but every time I go to sit down and write, this feeling that just like it literally like if I go to like just to move or stretch out my legs, it's like I kicked myself away. It's like like I repel everything. Like I go to write and then my pen like make my heart hurt, or I grabbed the pen and it was like snatched out of my hand and flung across the room. I'm like, and I go get, and every time I set down what I wrote, I set it down right here, and then I come back, it's disappeared. I can't even keep up with what I'm writing. Even if I put it in tablets, entire tablets go missing. Or I thought I wrote it in, I got it color coded. I wrote only in the yellow one, and then I go look for the information. The yellow one is not there. It's like it never existed. All of that. That's because you're connect. You have misplaced your empathy, and you have to get reacquainted with the purpose of empathy. And then empathy is also different from compassion. And then you have to kick out apathy on the outside. Apathy, powerful vibration, yes, but it doesn't belong on the inside. It's a place for it, but you're channeling apathy into the things that you genuinely, at a soul level, care about. And that's the part you have to change out, which happens oftentimes. That's why it's easy for me to detect faulty relationships, or relationships that are based on control, or relationships that are based on, like, just getting me to do things that I order, basically kind of like a being hypnotized, because there's an apathy element to it. Because the app is asking me to have apathy for various sensitive areas that inwardly, I'm going to detect. So I know that obviously that's not true for others across the board. And let alone, okay, so once you discover this, there's not too many people, because by the time you discover this, you're like, I'm nervous about, beginning to speak up, like confront this. Like, what do I have to do? I need to like pack my things and leave, or like, do I like say something to them? And I don't want to hurt our relationship. No, it's much more complicated than that. It's much more direct than that. This apathy won't allow you to create here. It's like they say that they describe it as a vacuum, or like a black hole, or it's like there's a hole. Like, what is that? That means you have to start. That's the place where you have to start spinning out. Because whenever I begin doing this, it's very delicate. So I start spinning out, like metaphysically, words, powerful words that are constructive and beneficial to the person. And then they start feeling the shifts. And by the way, once the seed thought is also what's called, is planted in channel, is there. First of all, it stays there. It cannot be, somebody can't come take it, or it can't not be conquered over with other mean words or whatever. It stays there. The person who I'm speaking with feels differently. Um, and the other person also senses it. Other people who know you sense that energy. So what is it like? Well, it's equivalent to if you've heard anything like if you've never think of if you've never heard the gospel before and you heard the gospel for the first time, it's that kind of feeling. Or you heard something so profound for the first time in your life. It's equivalent of that. Yeah. So it's a big deal. Again, I'm using extreme. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that the Bible would get you to feel that way at any time before, but if you can imagine what it might feel like to obtain information and the way that you would feel about it is new. You could say the first time you took on a very difficult mathematics and you solved the problem for the first time. It's that kind of feeling. Um, it's sadly it doesn't feel like a promotion or a race because actually you're just getting started because these words they get you speaking differently. You start to speak up. You start to like what you feel. Basically, oh, here's a good one. It's like tasting something for the first time, a really great dessert or really something like maybe a dish, a dish from a foreign country, but you really like it. It's equivalent to that. That's I should use that one more often to explain this. And then you're like, oh, I really do like this. This is really good. And now you know of it. You know now you're aware of it. So now next time you'll recognize it. So that means that they had to literally clear out everything. I guess that associated with like self-esteem, worth, value. They would have had to like dedication. They would have had to clear out, or if that was never there to begin with, and then begin putting. And of course, you weren't given the good stuff. You were given like people who speak from that space to like just being in a like I don't know what to do. I just feel stuck or I feel like they feel captivated and they don't want to feel caught up and captivated. They feel like they're intrigued by this person and they don't understand why. What is what is the what is the marvel? Why do they marvel this person so much? And they know full on well this there's no reason, other than like why. Parents are maybe asking like, what is it? How is this person? What's the captivation? I don't get it. And it's like, it's like, oh, okay. You're still trying to sort it out. So what I'm able to do, we start spinning out of course, it's unique to everybody, the words that you need for the first time. And those words, when they enter, you know, um, it's like they go through a gestation period. It's like they start, you start connecting with these words that are metaphysically light, and then you start getting ideas. You start co-creating. You start to realize I'm part of this. I can do this. I can do that. If I say this, I'll get that. People start manifesting. And by the way, when they realize that they're literally narrating now, what's even more funny is that you think that they would want to. Now, some people do try to narrate their relationship, but eventually they end up narrating themselves into a better situation out of the relationship. But they do try to, say either save the person or get the person to shift by with this newfound ability. They do try it, but most just come to realize like I just finally told them I just had enough, and they're like now they're talking more like that. There's more words like I had enough. I asked them to get their belongings. I didn't even know like what should I do with the belongings. I set it outside, but I put a tarp over it. Was that too mean? Oh my gosh, and I'm just enjoying all of this because this is not who I was introduced to, and they're like taking control of their house. Then to come find out, they own the house, and actually they've been giving that person money, and money to go and do, they said to do business, but no fruits were coming from out of the business. And that, left, when they left quickly, and they went, and now they all of a sudden they have a place to stay, and they were staying with someone, and then a whole nother can of worms. So, then it's then and they then come to find out, my client, like they are skilled in like six different careers, and and know people, and isolation. Like, how did they get? I mean, like, what led up to that? And if they would have told any of those individuals would have lifted them so high up, the person would not go to a maybe a party in a high rise, and on a rooftop, and mingle, because they'd be too ashamed. So it's like, and then they go off, and then they get connected, and through their networking, land really great job opportunities in the city. Something, yeah, it spins out like that. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah, use that power, use that those skills and abilities, and attract somebody, like a king of pentacles. In my brain, that's the way my brain works sometimes. You know. So yeah. Mhm. So yeah, it's pretty much yeah, that's pretty much kind of gets people moving in that direction. So I imagine, like, okay, so this world is full of surprises, and many, like, multi-dimensional. So yeah, there are people, as you would say, who's never heard the gospel. There's just are, or people who, as I'm stating right now, they've always had that hole, and they never understood it, and they never had, were never inserted with words of light, metaphysical. They've heard of it. I'm pretty sure they would have heard of people speaking positive thinking, and because I try to think positive. I try so hard. They heard it before, which means they've come across it, maybe come across some books. They maybe have, I'm pretty sure maybe they've read it, read up even a chapter of it, would give you something if it's understood. They just never was equipped with it, because you only need to do it once. You don't even need to come back for a checkup. Like, is it still functioning right? No, once it's there for the rest of your life. It's permanent. That's why we say, like, this kinds of things, like, metaphysics, there's no price on it. And of course, first of all, it's for the rest of your life. That's why but it's also obviously that valuable monetarily, but you get it for far less than if you were to, let's say, go by other means. You can get it less than a book, than the cost of a book, for example. You go to Barnes and Nobles, get the maybe what a $30 to $60 book on the subject, maybe higher. Or, of course, speaking with someone about it, in this space, especially if you like, look, I don't know if this will work. I don't have that a lot of time, and I'm just in a very difficult place. Of course, hopefully you get a real person, and they were going to do something with you in the first few minutes. Everything I just stated, by the way, first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, that's all that's really needed. And then it happens, and you're like, oh my gosh. If then your call back is like, okay, I want to spend a little longer with you, so I now have 20 minutes. We could talk a little more. Look, my life, the way I see things, it's just I see it so differently now. Like, my eyes are like open, and I'm looking at things for the first time from a new lens, and they're like looking around, and like looking at these new shapes, and listening to these new sounds, and they just have a new draw about life, a new draw on life. I love when that happens. Those feel so good. That is so rewarding for me. when those happen. In those cases, I'm like, I don't care if I would have gotten paid or not. If to feel that feeling, someone explaining, from what they've always have been used to or got caught up, even if they just got caught in, in a brief time or brief moment, maybe just the past months, not a full year, but yeah, it's been like this for about 8 months now. And I don't know how it happened. I just found myself here. So, and even if it's just a small little bit of time like that, or they've been like this like all my life, this I've always kind of so accepted. I thought this was just what universe meant for me. And then they realize that, and they also realize that it's always good to tell them that no time was wasted. All their work efforts, they're rewarded for it, and now they get to go forward and they're right on time, and they're not too old. They're not grandparented out of the off the path. No, you've got everything you needed. Now that you've got this additional piece, this piece for you to see things past, no illusion. You're feeling full on. Now it's time to enjoy life in a very colorful way that you are just now seeing that it's possible. What is possibility? As much as and as far as you can see is what from here, what I can tell. So let's look. Let's look and see if you get any ideas. So those type of readings, oh gosh, I wish there were more of those type of readings. That's also those feelings are definitely the like one of the prompts for me wanting to do my YouTube channel, because I can imagine someone stumbling in and they're like, yeah, yeah, I am getting these connections now, and and people becoming more aware. Like if you prefer the word revelation, like people getting revelations more, or dreaming more, or what I like to say, they are having more intuitive feelings more, or they are manifesting better and exact what they're manifesting is exact, something like that, or their own abilities are, they're interpreting it more correctly. They're actually hearing spirit. Some people might say actually hearing God. So, or actually hearing their guides, angels, however you want to phrase that. I get that a lot. I always love where people can say, where they feel like they're seeing an improvement because maybe they used to wouldn't turn to that as a source of information. It has come through by way of a person or something that they have researched, on paper or through experience. Mm, yeah, it's definitely getting better. Oh, I forgot. Actually, I'm here till 10. I just kind of been made aware of that. So I started coming in here at 7, rather than 6 o'clock. I don't know why I was. Yeah, I was kind of wired to come in at 6, but I did, but things didn't really start like jumping. I was like, oh, good. And then I can have that additional hour to fully, get committed. So I said 7 o'clock. I think that's my number. So I did the 7 to 10, which means, yeah, I'm actually still here. And I'm going to have to enforce a kind of a break anyway. Maybe, yeah, I think I will have to enforce it. Actually, although, okay, what I'm going to do is on here, maybe. Maybe I will take the break, anyway. Hi, Michelle. How are you? We're just kind of going with this energy flow. Like there's people have I know having my understanding. It may be different for you, but you're trying to get through the weekend. It's like this is the last business day, and there's three more, but we have to get through the weekend first. So I'm speaking with other people besides you all, and they seem to be a little bit anxious about receive the information that they're going to receive, which they've already received it. It's a matter of moving forward with things, which should happen by the full limit is Thursday, which means that they're going to know everything and have everything by Wednesday upcoming week. But for now, we got to get through the weekend. Yeah, I hope you're in a good space and things are moving in the direction it's going to get you the highest benefit. Um, so I definitely will be back on at 10 o'clock, but I'm still technically working. Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of glad that I chose 7. So 7 to 10, and then uh, yeah, then but on one of on I guess one of with America, I should stay on till 10, and then I can take a break from 9 to 10, and then come back at 10. Then I'll go back live with you all, and then I don't know what conversation we're going to talk about. I guess it's like whatever the universe, spirit will guide us to talk about. Today's conversation is very interesting. Like it's fascinating. I love it. We talked a little bit about, like people who kind of get trapped, kind of like, um, some I met people who are used to telling people like when they're done. But then, you know, uh, occasionally I get those readings where a person says, "I don't know how I ended up here." That's not even my personality. Like people ask me, like, "What's wrong with me?" Because I'm very much the one that says, "Oh, walk away from that. Get out of that. Tell that group no. Look, I'll go set my business elsewhere." But like this one, they get looped in, and then you know using the studies equipping them with the tool that they have for the rest of their life. Um, and it's also very valuable. Not only is it valuable, but it's uh, it's less than a book you would buy at Barnes and Nobles to get that information. Um, and they're able to come out of that situation entirely. And the tool that they had, again, they get to keep that for the rest of their life. It's beautiful, priceless. So yeah, so that knowing that that is possible, that I'm doing this for others, I want to do that here in my channel. Like occasionally, who knows? I come across people, who may need this information, tools or whatever. Beyond the psychic stuff, the standard, I can get that information to them like very quickly, so they can move into the highest uh, form of thinking, and they will. Trust me, they will. But yeah, this one was a wonderful conversation. I like to have more of these, but I like all of our interactive conversations that we've had. So, just saying, I'm just saying this really was a great topic actually. Like people who somehow they've lost sight of empathy, and so they're channeling literally apathy into their dreams. In other words, they become apathetic to their vision, their dream vision. Like they mentally, soulfully want to see. their vision. They even want to see it come true and succeed in it. But the energetic is rewired and redirected for them. When they look at the visual, it looks distorted, it looks wrong. Or when they go to actually do to fulfill the task, it's like instead of pulling the magnetism of where everything works out, they're pulling everything in the world that could go wrong. Like they run out of ink, that kind of thing. Somebody an hour before came in and took the last pencil out of the house, and now you're like, I don't have anything to write with, you know. So you're like, well, I could go get pencil, but guess what? That one friend you've been trying to avoid all month finally caught up with you. Now you've agreed to go to the picnic. Now you're no longer thinking about, that pencil where you would come back and you're going to fill out all those forms or, things like that, or start drawing again. But you need a very specific, kind of utensil. Now what are you going to do? So now it's like you guys energetically start all over again. And of course, trying to mentally, since you can't rely on the energy of your emotions, because it's apathy, you have to like wait till your mind it happens to pop up again in your mind as a spark, like as an idea. Oh, that's a good idea, I can now draw. Or I can now write out those papers in pencil that I like to do so much. So yeah, that's when you're connected with the wrong mojo, so you have to uh, work with. Well, we talked about that earlier. Anyway, I've gone a minute over. I'm going to stick to my plan. So I'll be back within 1 hour at 10. And I hope that you all continue to have a great morning. And we'll see what we're going to talk about. I'll see you on the